Now everything should be coming in. Cool. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I know it's been a while, but I think I stated why in the post. I did not expect not to be able to stream for such a long time. I thought that I would be able to keep on streaming, but the work that I'm currently doing in regards to the album requires really long render times. So I've done two renders, both of which have taken 11 hours, and I've still have to do another 10. I say 11 hours, I'm sorry, 11 days. If only it was 11 hours. It's 11 days of rendering time for the album videos. And I have over here the notes that I still need to implement. You guys cannot see them, which is exactly what I want, because of course I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, the rendering is going to take a really long time, and I didn't expect it to take so long. But having it both times really, because the second time I tried to implement a trick to hopefully cut down on the render times, but that didn't work. So I have to redo that in a different way, and I think I already know how to do that. But I guess the videos, they are so intense that they just take a long time rendering on the way that I was currently doing it. And that was because I was rendering directly to 4K. What I've already decided is that I'm going to render to Full HD and then upscale instead. And the other thing so what I need to do for that is I need to actually convert the project from 4K to 1080p. And I did that the wrong way around. So the second render also took longer than I expected. And so that was 2 weekends that I couldn't stream because my PC was rendering and I can just simply not use it. And in that time, I haven't really been able to do like videos and that kind of stuff. And as you guys, of course, know from the post, I'm just going to like semi-retire and just make videos whenever I feel like it, as opposed to trying to keep up with somewhat of a schedule or trying to keep up with shorts or trying to do any of that. I just want to focus more on one. I have a full-time job, of course, now, and that already made things difficult, but I could manage. I managed it for a couple of months. But with the rendering times, as well as just, wanting to slow things down now that I have a different thing going on in life, and having a full-time job, I just wanted to make my life a little bit more chill, so to say. I don't want the stress of having to get a video out at a certain point. I don't want the stress of having to record shorts every month. I don't want the stress of doing any of that. So I'm just not going to. And yeah, instead I'm just going to sit here and do the things that I need to do for the album to be finished and to work. And if I have any time left outside of that, I'll make content. I already have a cool idea for the next video, so that it's not going to be, how should I say it? So that it's not just a simple tutorial, the next one. Hey, could you switch your Ableton layout to the mid-dark theme for the video so it's easier for us to see? Honestly, even on that regard, I just don't care anymore. Like, I'm sorry. Why is it necessary to upload in 4K? Isn't 1080p enough? Yeah, probably, but 4K, it's the future, and I want to future-proof videos. I mean, it's technically here. I, at work, now have a 4K monitor, and you definitely notice a difference. You notice a massive difference. Especially if I open up a VM that can go up to a maximum of 1080. VM is a virtual machine. For those that don't know, that's like a computer inside of a computer. I work with a lot of computers at work, so it's not normal for me. But the stuff that we use, the virtual machine can only go up to 1080p. and therefore it's you can like massively see the difference if you open up a 1080p thing on a 4K screen if you're used to the 4K stuff. Not just because the desktop is like half the size, but also you just see the individual pixels. So I want to future-proof it for that reason. Um, but yeah, overall the album stuff, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of rendering. It's also not something that I'm particularly good at. It's not music. It's the visual side of things, right? I'm working on the visuals now, and that it's just going to take me a couple of months. And in that time, I don't want to, as I said, be stressed out with having to keep up a schedule that I know that I'm not going to be able to keep up, because there's going to just be like a week or two every once in a while where I'm just not able to use my PC at all because it's just going to be doing rendering. And in that time, I've just been playing games, I've been doing other stuff, I've been uh, just relaxing more. And that's good. That's good for me. It's nice to just have something like that. The only thing that is, of course, annoying about it is that the Sunday stream, which I do really like doing, had to be cancelled. Technically 2 times because of the render, and 1 time because I was out playing at a small private gathering where I had a lot of fun, met a lot of interesting people, uh, through a person that I knew from the other gig, the Echo Wood Festival gig that I played at in July, if I remember correct, June or July, somewhere early summer. But I met him, or another guy that played there, and he asked me to play there as well, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, I've just been enjoying life more. And another thing that is new that I posted about is I don't have them here. Well, I do have the lexicon here, the lexicon that I got. But the other mixer is currently also at my job because it needs cleaning on the inside. Some of the components are a little bit broken, like the left channel of the first channel doesn't work, that the left doesn't play, and it crackles and it distorts a little bit. But I got myself a mixer, and I got myself a mixer for $10. So hopefully in a little bit of time I can actually get some players with that. It would be really nice to just have an actual DJ setup that relies on players, and that way I can show, or I can learn, and then from there show up at any time at a gig just using 2 USBs and not having to travel with all of my stuff. That would be nice. So that is another goal of mine. And yeah, slowly but surely I'm working up to some really cool things. And I hope, I don't know, I'm not entirely certain, but I hope that still means that the album is on for release this year, if not early next year. And hopefully it will be a big thing. Hopefully it will be cool. Hopefully the people will like the music, but hopefully people also will like the visuals. I'm putting a lot more work into it than I would normally do for any of my other music, I guess. I mean, the first album was the same. I guess every album has to be just a big thing, right? But even this is one step further for me in terms of just sheer size of the project than the last album was. I think BS Audio Enhanced. I think BS Audio Enhanced very variation of Ableton utility device. BS Audio B.S Audio Utility. Enhanced utility device for Gumroad. That does look interesting. But I think most of this I can do already with... I don't even have my menu thing on. See how unprepared I am nowadays? See how much out of the flow I am nowadays? That's just me relaxing. M-Utility, I believe, does a lot of this stuff. But of course, that's a plugin, and therefore it's bigger. But yeah, this does a lot of those things as well. I don't think I need much more. than what I have in terms of plugins. It's always, I'm at the point where I just don't want to really purchase plugins anymore because I have so many of them. Realistically, what is the point? And I don't need them for content anymore. I don't need them to, make videos on or something specific like that. If I find some cool stuff, that is always nice, but it's not something that I'm really looking out for anymore. Today, in terms of what I actually want to do is, as you can see, I want to work mainly on this stuff where we have a lot of white. We have pretty strongly fixed most of the things in here. Of course, there's still going to be like some mixing things and some things that I can change and whatnot in here. The other thing I would like is to work a bit more on the break because it feels off still. Did you try damage audio contrast? No, I do not. I haven't. I've not tried it. Is it good? I think this melody is a bit too close to the other guy. Maybe if I go here like this and then just move that back here. Make projector great again. Fuck the work. I wish I could. I wish I could just do this full time. But unfortunately, being an artist doesn't really pay. Not a lot, at least. And, I also have bills and stuff like everybody else. Still nice to see that after almost a month being away that people still join and that they want to see what I'm up to. That is always nice, being able to get back to that. And I hope that that stays. I know that the views are staying. I don't care. As I said, I'm not in it for any business reasons anymore. And that is very liberating. But what I can show, if I don't show this, is that the channel isn't really suffering too much from it. They moved all of these things around. I don't know why. But this is when I was still uploading. And you could see that like every short that I post and every video that I post gets a boom. But the lower views here are roughly the same to the views where I'm just not uploading anything. And I stopped posting anything, I believe the 12th, exactly here. So this is the last day where you can see it's really good and then it tailors off, but then it stays steady at 1,000 views. Which is exactly what I want. I don't want to lose everything, of course, but I do want to just not worry about it as a job anymore. Glad you're still here. I've got a lot of videos to watch. And that's the other thing, right? I have a backlog of 500 videos and realistically, at some point, I'm going to come to a point where I've been, I've mentioned and taught everything that I wanted to. There's not really a topic where I feel like I want to do more. It's, it's hard to say, because if I think about it, there's probably, I can come up with another 200, 300 video ideas, but there's not something that right now I know that, oh, I still want to do that big video or I still want to do that massive thing. Of course, making an update on the Ultimate Bass Guide would be cool. Making an update on some other videos would be cool, but if you watch all of my content, videos, shorts, and live streams, if you watch all of it, I think you'll know theoretically as much as I know about music. It's that's probably the best way to say it, because it's not like there's, as I said, there's something that I'm missing, I feel like. You know what I mean? So that's a good feeling, being able to slow it down in that state, as opposed to, oh, I want to slow down, but I still have to film that, and I still have to do this and that and that. And I'm just going to be focusing on whenever I find something cool that I can actually talk about and that I can actually make interesting content about, then I'll do that. And if there's not something like that, then I'll just not force myself really to make videos. This transition is way too quick. I would like to high pass this probably with a slower then, like. What if I just do one note here and then have this ring out over? Because I do like the whistle sound, but it's just too quickly transitioning into here. That's cool, I like that better. And with this, adding a bit of rise to it, I think will work towards the end here. Is everything good, by the way, like levels and whatnot? Is that all working? Because not having done it for a month, I have changed things on like my audio interface and whatnot, so I hope that that's not a big problem. That's good. I like that. That's a nice transition. Helping it with the build-up. That's exactly what it needed. The clap here is annoyingly loud. But that's this guy, right? Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to like minus 4 dB on this guy. And then loop a bar. Just up until here. Would it be cool to do something like this, where we have little fills in here and whatnot? Guys a little bit lower, just so that they become a detail. towards the end, I hear a riser that I don't like, which is this guy. I like how it helps, but I don't like the tone that we get out of it. I can just add another band going down here. Just make it really out of the way, that tonal part of it. Maybe getting one of these guys involved. Over here, I would like to have some extra. I believe I already have Foley throughout this here. Yeah, like outdoor party stuff, this guy.
It's myself, where I saw myself, and I know this sounds weird.
This is good, but I would like to have like a crowd chanting and cheering and being happy at a festival kind of vibe in this part. I think that's a really cool transition from collective party here to this more in-your-face, monotone, small part of where you're dancing, and it feels much more like you're alone with the voice that then comes in your head, and then everything opens up again, and we go our merry way. So that would be a cool thing to see if I can achieve that. I don't know if I have the material to make that. Yeah, man, you've built a multi-year portfolio of vast and niche knowledge. I go back and watch older ones all the time. Doesn't feel like you've taken a step back. The info is still gold. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that is a good thing, is that I have enough material for people to hopefully keep watching for a very, very long time and learn stuff and come back to music production and or continue music production while I take a step back, and then at some point I hope to just come back. And I still hope that one day music is just a viable career for me, and that might include more videos, that might include like I never am going to stop making videos. As I said, I like it, and whenever I have something interesting to film or talk about, then I'll do that, but whenever I feel like it. And the other thing is, like, imagine how Virtual Riot does it, right? He leaves for a couple of months and then comes back with 2 random videos. One is 30-second long clip of whatever interesting project that he's working on, and the other is a very, very long explainer of this very particular thing that he did or something like that. And then he leaves again for a while, and then he does his shows, and he does all of his other stuff, and then he comes back making... I kind of want to do that. And if at some point there is more of a career again in just making music production content and being an educator in the space, then I'm willing to do that again. But for now, it's just not in the cards. And that means that so much of my life is taken up by having a job and maintaining myself and just having a solid income, that I really don't want to stress it out with having to have a second job on the side if I really don't have to do that. And luckily, right now, I don't. With the amount of stuff that I still make doing YouTube, and just people still purchasing my products, and I'm still have a couple of students that I speak to every week, and all of that stuff, that still keeps enough money coming in that together with my main job, I'm doing pretty comfortably now. Whereas at the beginning of the year, I was like stressing every month till the end of the month whenever the YouTube money would come in or the Patreon money would come in, and I had bills to pay at a certain date. I sometimes would have to, ask other people for money or lend stuff and that kind of thing. I just don't want to go back to that. And if I can do music without having to worry like that, then that would be it would be a massive upgrade to the mental health side of things, of having this job as a full-time job, right? If you know that, well, your income is not going to be consistent, it is at least going to be always solid enough that you get by, right? I don't need fancy shit. I don't need a luxurious life. I just need to get by, and then I'm happy. But there is a baseline money that you need to even get to that point. What is my other job? I am a computer guy at we say computer guy, but really I am a system administrator and network administrator. The system administrator stuff, of course, also includes network, but that is usually when I'm in the office, which is most of my job. And then maybe once a month I go out to an event, and there I become more of a network administrator versus including streaming. So what I do is our company hosts conferences, and we do all of the stage stuff. So we build the whole stage. We have the whole the technical side of things, and we do the whole production. So we have people that are like a video guy. We have people that is some guy that is an audio guy. We have another guy that is prompting. There is another guy that does the PowerPoint and whatnot. Everything that needs to happen at the conference via technology, the whole stage and everything that is connected to that, we arrange everything in that regard. And that means that we constantly run events for big companies and host conferences. And in that, when I ever go to an event, I do the streams. So anytime that there's a stream requested of the event so that outside people can actually watch the event, then I will be there. And either streams or Zoom calls coming in. So any connections going outside of the conference, I handle that. And I handle all of the networking stuff and whatnot. So we get from the location, we get one network port and have to provide everybody who needs internet access during the event with the equipment and the cables that they need to get their internet access. And then when I'm in the office, all the time material comes back from events and all of the PCs, both just the normal laptops that we use for most stuff, but also a lot of the specialized machines that are purpose built. They need to be reset for the next event. So that is a big part of my job. And then a lot of people working in the office, of course, work on the computer, and they get computer issues, and that is like the final part of my job. And that is more the system administrator kind of deal, and making sure that an office of 40 people can just continuously do their job and maintaining server stuff, do like hosting and cloud stuff and website hosting and all of that good stuff. So yeah, system administrator / on-site network administrator for events whenever that's needed. That's a pretty big mouthful, but I don't know how to summarize it. That I cannot put it on my CV like that, I know, but I don't know how to summarize it any better. With that, it's supporting helping old people with it or these kind of things. You all have to do that. I mean, yeah, it's not just old people nowadays that have difficulty with technology. We have enough younger people as well that just have PC issues or whatnot. And I mean, it's not really not even like issues most of the time. Like somebody has a laptop that is old and they need to get a new laptop, but they have a whole bunch of programs. They don't want to sit there, spend 2 days of their normal job time actually transferring over all of the things that they need on their new PC. So we do that for them, right? So I'm the PC guy. Anytime you need something done on your PC, then they go to me or the guy that is working with me or who is technically my boss. It's not like, yeah, he is my boss in the way that he's not the boss of the company, but we're two people in the same department kind of deal. So yeah, I want to try and do crowd cheering stuff here. Now, one of the things that I guess that's a good thing that I'm now doing this. Now that I don't care about this stuff anymore, I can show you guys my little tricks for how I usually find samples if I need something very specific. So if I'm looking for crowd chants, what I'll do is I'll go onto YouTube and I'll go in here and filter by upload date. And you're going to get a whole bunch of random stuff, but there's going to be some things in here that are going to be useful. So like a football chant, I could mix this in the background, maybe. Maybe this one not, I don't like the sound of it. But other things, maybe if I don't find a good one here. There's a lot of football in here, of course. The Bella Ciao, maybe. It's hard to, I don't want anything to be recognizable. I just want rhythmical cheering of maybe like random tones. Yeah, so this is singing, we cannot use that. I want more screaming and chanting kind of thing. Tribal chants is maybe a better term for what I'm actually looking for. So again, going to upload date and just seeing it. There's a lot of AI stuff nowadays, by the way. I guess most of this is AI. This does not really have the party feeling that I'm going for. This is more music. Not really a rhythm that I can work with. Now I've spent reels of Michael Jackson fighting with an Austrian painter. I want this, but with voices. The AI stuff is saving us. Okay, so now I have the video. I just need to record that, and luckily I can do that inside of my Ableton with just going to external input. And with the way that I have my routing set up, this will actually show up. But just recording that, we get a sound that we can work with. By the way, what's up? Wide band Lena, how are you doing? Okay. It's going to not be long enough, but we can just mix this in at some point. We have a rhythm that is, it's not quite, but it's very close, so that's nice. We also have a cool recognizable point in the waveform where we can cut to create a loop. And hopefully that means that we can get a version without it resetting, although maybe it resets here. So here it resets, okay. That just means that we need to cut on a waveform that looks like this. Yeah, you can really clearly see it. So we just move this and then we find the next point where that resets. Right here. If I get a bunch of these and maybe a few different kind of tones and chants and whatnot, hopefully we can use that in an interesting way. So let's first of all try to synchronize this. It seems a little bit slow right now. First guy is nicely synced up. So really I should just be looking at where all of the hits are. And this guy is okay. And if I do that, Like that should be pretty close. You don't have to fully sync it up, but it's nice that if it's at least somewhat synchronized, and now we should have something like this. If I get a bunch of different samples like this, I should be able to create like a somewhat of a texture or morphing of these kind of ideas out of it. So maybe we should aim for more AI stuff here, even if it's this is flute epic tribal battle music. No, that's not going to be it. By the way, mind B, if you know, does Falcon have any of these kind of chant things? Well, here we have another one, so I'm going to save that. Tribal chant, festival. I'm just going randomly here. You could probably AI generate good titles for what we're doing here. So that's more of a crowd song kind of thing. But you can see like which videos are probably gonna go well. It's probably going to be hard finding this stuff without the drums and any of that in there. And I don't want to run it through AI again, because that lowers the quality usually so much that it's hard to work with if it's already such low quality source material. That's nothing. Seems like people having a good time. There's a lot of this stuff that comes from India, by the way. Solutions to all your problems. I highly doubt it.
Keep going. More deeper. Take a deep breath in.
What I maybe should look for. This stuff. Hoping to catch somebody walking through the festival land at a point where there's little music and trying to record that can be really good. Yeah. Perfect. Walking tour begins. No music playing. This can be our like main background sitting throughout the whole thing. I'm going to move this guy here so that we just have a recording track. Please don't play music in here yourself. Why would you do that? I'm hoping for a nice 30-second clean atmosphere of people in the festival. That's a nice detail, the beer cans that you hear that clearly in there. Those are the things that I want to go for. So that's gonna be a lot of music in there still. I want to record this one still. Nice, this one pauses, so we have an exact thing that we can cut. Psytrance Festival walkthrough, let's see. Yeah, so that looks dancing. Capturing festival magic here. These are the kind of videos that, if you can get the part without any of the music and just people being happy. It's hard because there's always going to be some music below it, right? I really like your videos. Could you do more tutorials on sound design and selection? I think maybe something on sound design or more sound selection is something that I could go for. It's not something that I've specifically talked about as long as I can remember. But it's really hard to do that justice because everybody is going to have their own ideas. And what works for you is not going to work for me. It's different from just saying like, hey, here's this synth and here's how you make that synth. Or here's how a bass line is made. Or like the guide where it's like, here's everything you need to know to make bass lines effectively or to make arrangements effectively or to learn Serum 2, for example. Those kind of videos. That being said, I can definitely give a little bit of insight into my own progress, although it's probably not going to be really that like big of a topic where I can make many revelations. I would need to think about that if I can actually do something cool with that. I'm getting recommended my own stream. How very interesting. Psytrance walking tour. This is all gonna be on the dance floor. What if I go the camping by drone? This is somebody who's on the campsite, it seems. Very low audio quality. Yeah, this has a lot of crackling and like background stuff that is not really good, but something like this, like a vlog.
To make a video, not to make it. Kids, hey, hello, how are you? Hungarians in the festival. So every time you approach Hungarian stuff, I'm not saying that it happens, but you can pay only cash in this.
I have that one. I have that hanging in my living room. But this is a good one. There are some screams in there that I can maybe extract a little bit and do some cool stuff with. I hope
I was about something very, very, very interesting and important. It was about this.
Shut the fuck up. It's interesting how hard it is to find footage from a music festival without music in there. Like this kind of stuff is mainly it. But even here, you hear that clunk in there. So this isn't usable. Officer Festival, I go stroll. Let's see. This also looks like there's a lot of music going to be in there that is... Oh, no, maybe here? Teach them cohesion in the composition, teach them feedback techniques that finalize a track. In my honest opinion, most people stuff right there. Most people stuck right there. Cohesion in arrangement too. Ah, silent disco gigs, you're amazing. That's right. That's actually a great idea. As long as people don't. That's usable. That's the stuff that you want. Exactly.
Have you ever imagined going to a club with no sound? There are only the sounds of people's footsteps dancing.
Well, that's great. Ultimate silent disco. This is good. This is the kind of stuff that you want. Some of that singing, we can put that in there. Maybe some other ones. This kind of stuff. The singing isn't good enough that you can actually hear what they're singing. And combining a few of these, I don't think any one song would stand out, which is exactly what I want here. Look at this guy going mad, by the way. Some amazing dances here. Well, this is, by the way, a great technique for finding a lot of cool... Like, look at the recordings that we have now. We can extract a bunch of different ones in here, extract all of them out, and then play with them. But one of the things that this little technique does do for you is that it massively messes up your algorithm, your YouTube algorithm. So don't do this too often. But yeah, to respond to the cohesion in the track kind of stuff, it's hard because that is the exact thing that people are creative with, right? In the sense that that is the thing that is going to set your music apart from somebody else's music. And it feels hard capturing a good way of, I guess, explaining how how I look for cohesion in, say, this project. It's not like I'm always busy, one, trying to find all of the sounds that work together, and two, that's the part that kind of is, one, the creativity, and also it happens automatically. Like, if a sound doesn't work for me in the track, that is because it has no cohesion with the rest. I got him. I got the mosquito. Nice. So, I don't know how easy it is to make a tutorial on specifically that, but it's something that I could try. It should definitely should be on a list somewhere. I have like 2 big lists of still video ideas that are something that I could do. And I don't know how I'm going to tackle that, if I'm ever going to tackle that or not. That's... Is this enough? There's a little bit of screaming in there, which can come through nicely. So I'm going to have that fade in over time. Let's first of all make a group out of this, so that we can hear our final result of just audio here. And then we'll see if we can work that into the track in an interesting way. Oh yeah, so this was our texture that I want to put under everything. And then we're gonna have different tracks below it right here that are coming in and going out, and that creates like evolution throughout everything. So this is going to be our continuous thing. Let's set this up so that it's nice and loud as well. That's cool. I need another one that is the rhythmical one for later.
To make a video, not to make it.
I want to say something.
Oh no, before we recorded this guy. Where? Here we have another one. Yeah, so that is nice tribal stuff. Of course, I like to dump everything on their own audio track. I could consolidate this at the end into one file, but I like having everything on an audio track. So that I always, in the mixing stage, have control over everything. But that's just my own workflow. That does mean that my projects are getting massive and laggy, and it's not fun working in a project that is almost 400 tracks. But you learn to live with it after some point. Indeed, each genre has its foundations for cohesion through that. It's a real nerdy technical one to teach people how to stay cohesive in what they build. I really enjoy your workflow. I make techno, I watch you and try to compensate your techniques into my foundations. It's not so much the genres that I'm worried about not being able to like correctly cover, to say it like that. It's more that I just don't know if I can teach it in a way that you can apply it to your own style of working, right? Because I don't think it matters with the genre. I think it matters more with your way of deciding whether a sound is good or not. I guess. Let's see if we can find a rhythm in this. Tak, 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 tak. So here. Compensating for that, it's here. Okay. Let's halve that timing by going here. For some annoying reason, I would have loved if, yeah, now it stays. I think here, if we EQ this right to get out most of the drum stuff, it can be cool for the voice in here to be like rhythmical somewhat. I feel you from how you're going to paint, but each genre has its foundations for cohesion, and I suppose you being advanced past that, I know where you're coming from. Yeah, I guess that is the... It comes natural to me, is I guess the best way to describe it. This guy needs to be turned off. And this guy fades out here. As you can see, I'm already having disk issues with this project as well, so that's great. Would that mean I would need to load all of these guys into RAM? I guess so, but that's not really something that I want to do too much either, because this project is getting so big that I haven't even finished the main arrangement. I still need to write all of this, essentially. So this project, there's going to be many more tracks that need to be added, but if I'm already having disk issues, that's going to be a fun one. This on here to make sure that it doesn't have that like low end. I guess we'll do like that kind of processing later for the whole group as well. But this guy can be even lower still, and then we have our main. Lots of smaller clips and texture disk accesses. Consolidation is the answer. Yeah, my plan is to just write this and probably just turn it into one file at the end. I know that there's... I know that I said that I don't like that, but that is probably inevitable when you're working with this many audio files to make such a small detail, that I'll likely just render everything to audio and then work that into the track at some point. This guy's good here, like that. See if we can find some more stuff that's interesting. woo and yes in there. Really cool detail. I like that.
Have you ever imagined going to a club with no sound? There are only the sounds of people's footsteps.
Of course, we have the AI slop in here as well. Can't escape that anymore. It is wild. I heard some guy made a video on Suno now. Both Suno and another service are looking to make these pages where you can just constantly go and just continuously watch kind of like YouTube shorts, but that are just AI generated. So you just get the worst of what currently is TikTok and the shorts page just continuously blasted at you. And there's like no human intervention. You just go there and you say like, oh, I want to watch content, and then it just continuously blasts shorts at you. And this is like not some outside project. This is like actually an OpenAI thing that they want to use, because OpenAI wants to make $850 billion with their products so that they can work on some kind of next phase or something like that. And therefore they need the money. So they're trying to do whatever they can to monetize the Suno and all of the other things that they have, right? And I don't know if that's really going to work, if people are actually going to care for that. That's all music. There's a lot of noise in that one.
There are
Maybe I can get this without the sub bass, and that might work. Let's see, we have kicks in here, so this is gonna be easier to hopefully time. I can't tell if that's gonna be in time or not. I guess we can just put it in there and see what happens. Using random crowd noises / cool playground is always a cracker. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to find exactly what I want, but I feel like we've got a good collection so far, and with a bit of processing, I think we can get exactly where I want to be. So this will be probably the last sound that I'll add, and then like fade it in out in some places where I just need a little bit of extra oomph. But first of all, we need the I don't think those little hints of psytrance kick and bass are going to matter, and I think that actually can be really cool to just have that in there. This is a little bit on the outside of the screen. this guy go down again. Together with a little bit of the right. How was the new job? The new job is great. It's a very fun job. Very fun people. Very different, of course, than spending weeks on end in your little studio making videos and not seeing anybody. So I really like the social aspect of it. That is something that I was definitely missing in my old job. It's really solitary being a content creator, especially if you're focused on education stuff and you don't really do collaborations like that. But yeah, so it's good. It's nice. Let's see how we go in here. By the way, I didn't play the track at the beginning. Do you guys want to hear the full extent of the track again? Do you guys still remember it? I mean, I've been working on it for so long on stream now that it's hard to forget, but...
I had an experience once myself where I saw myself, and I know this sounds weird because it's been seen, explode in a cloud of post-it notes that then became felt around and spread.
This is cool. Right now this side is a little bit loud, but overall that's gonna be okay, I think. That little hint of the clock coming in here. I like that, but I really want that low. This guy as well.
It feels like my cosmic sinuses
That guy, and then
been unclogged after a long time of being
this
born,
one too.
and it feels great.
Nice. I like that. If you need some cool stuff, Native Indian chants, Gregorian chants, or even the crowd cheers during Morpheus' speech at Xeon in the Matrix is a cool one to clip. Maybe because I don't have any content, not sure, but I can assure you that I'm here. If you're on desktop, you can actually sort by, or you can display only channels, and then even channels without any content and without any subscribers, I believe, shows up. We can test that last theory. So if I go, let's delete this because we don't need it. Infrashell, you shouldn't find it like this, but if I just go to channel, we might find it. Oh, it doesn't seem like you're popping up for some reason. It's finding stuff that has just no relevance to it, which is the main issue with YouTube search, is that usually you don't find Infrashell 18. Oh, if you know the channel name, you can just make the link. I can just go like this. Yeah. Here. And going like that. Now you guys have the link. It's also here. Out here, I wanted to do a bit with this, indeed. This is the instrument stuff. Yeah, project is really starting to lag now, as you can see. I want to go to -5 on this. I guess I cannot use any sliders in Ableton anymore. I have to type all of the values. I want to high pass probably this guy here. What I think I'll do is delete this, just turn off the delay here, and then also turn this into a bit of a rising thing. Towards the end here. Like so, maybe? This is cool. I want a bit more brightness here. Like this is a really muddy sound. Maybe this is already better. And maybe I should just go like this and instead volume in all the time. I do want it to give the listener a little bit of a moment to get more into the music and then slowly have the atmosphere kind of coming in. A nice big crash here, very low in the background, like an exhale kind of thing, together with a wash out kind of deal. So long crashes, I usually keep those over here. Something like that, but without the warping on it, to not mess with it. I do feel like this part is a little bit not bright enough. A little bit dull here now. And I guess that has to do with the fact that we have the drums not in there as much as we had before. So let's see. Yeah, we're missing a little bit of 10k-ish, I would say. I guess this explains why. What about 2 kick, bump, bump, snare? There's some places I could do that, yeah. Maybe here. That feels a little bit too busy. I feel like having something every 4 bars is good enough in terms of variations. What we can do is have a little bit of a clap variation, maybe. What if we... I like this, but I think I'm gonna vary it a bit by just fading this guy out. And just, I guess, pitching this one up. More. We just paint or shout in colors, you paint how you see forth. Yeah, I still like it if people give suggestions like this, because it helps you really get out of your normal patterns. Like, I have my own ways of doing things, but that's not always the best way, right? And trying to get out of those patterns is sometimes exactly what you need to make a certain part of a track work. So maybe here a different snare, still a little bit of a darker kind of thing I'm feeling. This guy maybe, but then pitch down. And of course cut. I want this to be a bit more coming through. Nice, I like that. What I also want to do is make these guys stereos. Gunter goes Goblin mode. How are you doing? Welcome. I'm Gunter, I'm a drummer musician, and I run a solo project with a bunch of session musicians. Ooh, interesting. Cool. That sounds like a fun time. I've never really done anything with recorded music before. In my 13 years of music production, I've never recorded myself playing an instrument. I've sampled instruments, like individual notes, but never playing a full instrument type deal. And I've never had anybody else over for playing either. This is good. I want to do a little bit of volume riding in this, or that's what I call it, is where you kind of like design some curves so that certain sounds like slowly come in and out. So for example, here I would like that last part, but this guy I want that a little bit lower. So then I go there, and then say like this, just a little moment of maybe not 11 dB, but like a little bit of space in here.
It feels like my cosmic sinuses have been opened up and unclogged after a long time of being dormant, and it feels great.
Something I have to fix in the mix is that that vocal needs a bit more space in the high frequency, so that its own high frequencies can be toned down a bit. I like this, but it's too dark. Too... Yeah, I want it to be a bit emptier in the lower frequencies there. Little pitch ramp in behind maybe. I can probably, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna add more effects to this. I like what we have with the rising of the flute now. I think that's decent enough. I might return to that section, but I like to take things into stages. So if we come back to it, then that may be a thing that I can do. What I'll probably do is now work on this stuff here, either finishing the production or doing some of the other stuff. But I'm going to do that after a quick break, and during that time I'll be starting the recording here so that you guys can hear what this track is all about, if you haven't heard it yet. And then we'll just continue working on it after that little break. I won't probably spend the whole 8. This is a 20-minute track, by the way. As you can see, the 18 minutes here. It gets to almost 20 minutes. I won't be away for the whole 20 minutes of playing, but I'll just take a break and go to the toilet for a second, and then I'll be back and we'll continue working on this.
It won't hurt you.
done DMT.
It won't hurt you.
Don't mind the change of attire here, but we're getting to the point here in Italy where things start to cool off. Especially in the evenings. Cool, as I said, pinch of salt, different ears. You know your spices a lot more than me. I don't want it to sound like whenever I don't like an idea that's reflective negatively on the person suggesting it, because I really like when people suggest ideas for my tracks. So please keep doing that. Thought I hit the shop for some milk for tea too. I hope you come back. I hope that you're not that kind of go to the shop for milk guy, if you know what I mean. Nice, nice. Sometimes you have to say it. Some people don't, independent of age, but some people don't get that whenever you have a, I guess, an idea that you don't like, that it's not a reflection of them personally or as a producer or something like that. Especially when I do feedback. I didn't do it today because I just wanted to chill, but if I have more streams again, I'll continue doing feedback, of course, as well, because I also really like that. And there I noticed that sometimes somebody has the idea that when I give feedback on their track, that it's a reflection of them as a person or as a producer, which is not the case.
I had an experience once myself where I saw myself, and I know this sounds weird because I'm used to seeing
The
explode.
foley that is in here is slightly out of sync. Can see you have some disk issues here now, which is not great.
It feels like my cosmic sinuses have been opened up and unclogged after a long time of being dormant, and it feels great.
This one here.
And I had this idea.
we're gonna end up with more white notes at the end of the stream than at the beginning. Was supposedly the part where we had, or was that here where I did more vocal? Oh no, that's the first drop. Here I'm doing a lot of vocal stuff. I can do that here too. I don't have the space for it. I need another notes track here. I know this is not finished, but this is really good. Thank you. Yeah, and then from here it's just gonna be the idea. There's nothing really in here that I've finished in terms of production. Like you can see, no atmospheres yet, very little one-shots yet. Some effects, but not much, and then we probably need more sequences in here as well to just fill it up and do cool stuff there. In my mind, the quality in this one has taken it to the next level in this evolution. Thank you, thank you. It is, I think, because it's such a big project, and because I am so keen to work on this track week after week after week. How long have we been working on this just on the stream? Like 2 months now? Yeah, I started this before going to WoW Festival. So all of the streams since WoW Festival, since mid-August, and any of the production that I've been doing off stream as well has been in this project. So I'm spending a lot of time on it and worrying about the details and whatnot. Low parts of the melody come in later. Here just in general. Have the come in over here slowly, and then here it starts to really go. size is impressive, but for me the quality of the sound is noticeable leap in the proverbial ladder. Thank you very much. Try styles relentless, you gotta keep shit interesting every 8 beats. Yeah, I am very much a fan of the type of psytrance where it just morphs and every new segment that you see is a new idea and all of that flows together in interesting ways, and then after that it's just like that's gonna be or the other thing is, I guess, that the one shots on top of that is what contributes to. You have the sequences that are the blocks, right? So the individual like block here, block here, block here, the different ideas, and then the one shots on top really bring it to life. Because we have our main ideas in here now, but this is still a boring part compared to all of the other stuff. Also because I haven't really done all of the automations that I would need to do and evolution of the sound, of the main sound and whatnot, but there still needs to be more stuff that just makes it interesting. Can you show what's on your master channel? Right now, there is a spectrum. In terms of mastering in this project, I am not going to master. My actual master channel is over here. Technically, there is stuff on the master channel, but this is effects that I turn on every once in a while in the track. This is not something that I often do, by the way, that I have to process the master channel like this. But since this is the production project, I don't do my mastering in here. And in fact, the mix that you're hearing for this track right now is not going to be the final mix either. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to finish this production and then I'm going to export each individual track as its own WAV file and then re-import that into Reaper for mixing. And then from there I get the mix. I drag the mix over once I have the final mix file. That is just the individual file, that is the whole mix of the song. I drag that over back into Ableton and then I'll do my final mastering. But I can tell you that it's always going to be the same stuff that I did in my mastering video, where I have a Shadow Hill mastering compressor, some sort of clipper. My go-to clipper is called Free Clip. It's really good because it has both oversampling and hard clipping at 0 dB, which is essentially what I want. I just want to catch the smallest of peaks with that clipper, and really it's a clipper that you shouldn't hear, but it just helps me get the mastering limiter to sound slightly better. And for my mastering limiter, the final thing that is going to go on my master track, it's going to be a plugin called Boost, which I just like because it makes everything very, very loud in a good way, the kind of way that I like for my mastering. Sometimes there's a little bit of EQ on it, but lately the EQing has been brought to a minimum because I just get the sound that I want from the track in the mixing stage. And that is really all my aim, is that my mastering stage really only is about a slight bit of gluing with the Shadow Hill, just to squash everything a little bit together more. And then just the loudness, which in and of itself is technically also gluing everything together. I wonder how many notes track I'm gonna end up with at the end of this production if I'm already using all 4 in this early state. Because don't get me wrong, this is still a very early stage in the production. I still have to go back several times over all of this and like actually hash out the real detail. Shadow Hill green or red? Yeah, this is an audio track. I can put it on here. The Shadow Hill that I have is believe the green one. Yeah, this should be the green one, right? Because you referenced the knob in the middle, I believe. I know that there's 2 different versions of the plugin, but I haven't used the other one. Green is a little dirtier, red is cleaner, more thumb. I like the green one. It's what it usually does is it's for me, it glues the track together. That is really important, is that it has that gluing effect, but it also shapes the sub in a way that I've gotten so used to it that there's, like, out of the album stuff, I believe that there was like 1 or 2 masters where I was like, okay, I need to tweak this up a little bit because of the change of the Shadow Hill that it brought, and just some EQing fixed that. But all of the other ones, I knew how to mix into the plugin to get the sub sounding the way that I wanted it to sound. So that's really good. What I think I want to do is I want to work on this stuff here. The stuff where I still have to do the most, because I think that's going to be very interesting. Brad has a lovely 50 Hz area on the sub if it ever interests you, and it's cleaner overall. But both great, of course, just sharing what I saw and heard. I might get the other one. I'm not unhappy with the Shadow Hill that I currently have. And for this kind of, like, I know psytrance is supposed to be a very clean genre, but that amount of, it's not even making it dirty, it's just like slight saturation, which is all you really need for psytrance, and you don't want to go too far with it, because then it can definitely mess up the cleanliness that you're looking for from the kick and bass, right? It's not like a techno or any other genre where you have a messy kind of kick drum or something like that. So just the normal amount of saturation that we get from the Shadow Hill right now, even if that's the dirtier version technically, it's good for psytrance, I would say. That one works, and I believe it's like that, or maybe the other way around. No, it's the other way around. Okay. So that there, and then this guy here. Might be cool to have both of the chord steps in here. I'm looking for a really soft sound that is just going to come in over time. So you're not going to hear this in the beginning, but it's just going to be probably a like very high octave chord kind of thing. I'm not going to sit here and download Serum right now. Yeah, so this is way too low. Cool. Of course, way too loud right now, but this helps a lot with getting the sound design right here. If all else failed, the Ableton Resonator on the Serum. Yeah, the way that I want to use this is I like the sound that we have here. I want it to be a bit softer still. So I'm probably going to get rid of some of the harshness in here And then I'm just gonna have this come in over time and maybe like delay or like glitch up in an interesting way here. Of course, much lower in volume. That's cool, and then the EQ that is going to actually do the transitioning in. And then another thing that I might do is a 1 beat delay on this. That might be a cool idea too. Although that might mess up here if I do too much of it. That you don't hear it at the beginning here. That it kind of comes in together with the flutey melody that we're doing here. Probably just cutting it out fully there in that last beat. Yeah, that gives enough space for that drum thing to sit in. Cool, I would like one final thing in here. By the way, how do we... We hear the flute coming in here, and then towards the end I think it's cool if we have a final arp. So that one we're going to make over 8 bars here. And that's just going to be a simple going up and down, or just going up, I guess, thing I have in mind. So just the same chord that we're already playing, but just going up. All the way over here. We have to go... I keep having to put it back because I don't remember the way that it goes, if it first goes up and then down or the other way around. But it should be this, then down, here. These are now, yes, okay, perfect. And then we put that off there and just move these two guys like that. And sometimes it's nice to just be able to grab a plug or a preset or whatever and don't have to make anything. That can spark some inspiration. That one is kind of wild here. Does that have a slow delay option? Slow decay option? Not really. I'm already out of the thing here. I need a background thing. All of these are very in your face. This is good. But very generic. Maybe some of these just need an octave higher. This guy with a little bit less release. Reverb on this is bad. We'll change that for the sound that we're going for, but I think this is getting there in terms of sound. And honestly, I can probably just get away with yeah, copying this over here. God damn, this project is getting slow. The next few tracks I'm gonna make simpler, or at least try to not get as strong of a track or as high of a track count in there. Oh, and we need to, yeah, change this guy, this guy, this guy. That's all EQ, nice. This guy, and we'll have you come in. I guess over the length of the whole thing is good. Just a little detail there. And then this part here, I'm going to mess up the kick and bass a lot and do like fills and whatnot. I call those things complexities, where you do like little fills and not just the standard kick and bass pattern. What you hear more in the like nighttime and full-on kind of feeling, where that kick sometimes stops and it plays around with some of the rhythms. And given that we have a synth in here that is nice and glitchy and that is like staccato, and then one sound plays and then the other and then that kind of thing, what I can do is I can follow the rhythm with my kick and bass every once in a while to link it to what we're doing in the glitch here. So let's have a listen to that. Do you hear how here we have the same da 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 da? We can work with that by, I guess, doing the double kick in here. Yes. Therefore, I need to get myself one of my kick drum samples. Maybe even like this. Here I want to go into the drums group and remove all of our drums here so that it's just the impact of the snare, I guess, that hits. Still a little bit there. Feel like this sound is a bit too similar now to what we already have, so I'm going to look for more of an FM-y texture in here somewhere. More like a bubble FM, I guess. Let's actually make this dynamically. So what you can do is, let's go for a simpler wave shape here. I guess I want something, yeah, something like this. Maybe a bit more sine wavy. So like that. Can have its own sine wave in here. We can maybe morph this around a little bit, and yeah, we're starting to see a main sine wave going through it. What I want to do is probably 16 of them, and then all you go like this until you get a single one of them. So then you get that, and now if you bend that slightly, you get cool sounds out of that. Or we can asim it. But this is a 1 and 1 shift, so it's not smooth, right? So you can see it stretches the half of the waveform like this, and then the other half it stretches it in a smaller way. It's just the middle point moves to the left and the middle point moves to the right. I don't want that. I want it to be a smooth version of that. So that would be this. Where, as you can see, it becomes, the further you are towards the end, the more it gets stretched. And the further it is to the beginning, the less it gets stretched, and you get that in a smooth way. Let's actually do this, but swap warps, and then maybe do something interesting in between. That's actually the exact kind of rising sound that I'm going for, or that I want. I'm thinking here also more of that vocal stuff that I hinted at here. Saving a default with wavetable overtones turned. I remember an old Serum video back in the day about hidden tips to do with saving a default with wavetable overtones tuned musically to key, etc. Where you drew your sine wave in the wavetable. I remember that. I don't. I don't know what you mean with overtones tuned musically to key. That must be a very old video then, yes. I honestly don't know what you're talking about here. So I don't remember what the exact topic was there. What's this guy, by the way? Oh, this is the... This definitely can go. We already have so much melodic stuff in this drop that's not needed. Anyway, yeah, the complexities. I want to finish that before I do anything else, otherwise I forget. The key is you don't want to necessarily mess up what people are dancing to. You just want to add interesting extra bits here. Okay, we're gonna need one more bass note there, but before we do that, I'm gonna have the reverse thing here. So this goes like this. No bassline in here either. think I like that, but I want you to be slightly shorter in terms of note. Can I see which one it is? Please, yes. Here's simple double kick. It's good to have not every 4 bars, so or every 4 beats. So I'm going to leave this here so that it has a little bit more. I guess the pattern that I can go for is 1 bar, 1 bar, 1 bar, 1 bar, 2 bar, 2 bar, so that it has at least a little bit of cohesion. The other thing that is interesting is that we're again doing a double kick here, which is the same thing that we did over here. So there's a nice connection there, and then we can build around that. I don't think I will respect that throughout the whole thing here. Maybe here we'll do another. I guess what I could do, I think I'm gonna do that here. I think I'm gonna already go away from the rule that I just told myself I should do by doing a little bass roll here. I like what we have here, but this is a little bit too much for me because it's the first part. So I'm going to copy this over here. This needs to be... I still want the hats and stuff that are on the kick, so I need to be careful with that. I just remove all the 3 things that are on the bass. Let me reverse that here and here. So, and then you guys are going to go, and I'm going to take the bass pattern and move that over there as well. There, and then we can just drag these guys out here, and we'll do one where it's, I guess, just something here, and towards the end. I think I do still want a stop here. So, yeah. Let's try something like this. I have a sidechain somewhere on here. But where? Ah, interesting. Both. Both sidechains are, I guess they're different. That's why I did that. Probably, right? Okay. 1.5. Oh, this one is always off. That's perfect. That means that it's just this guy that needs to go like this. And then here doing something interesting with a shifter over this part here, maybe having it like rise up and then it snaps back for the final glitch sound, I guess. All the way around. Just here we want it. Let's see if that actually makes sense in the structure here. Last thing I want to do to enforce the snap a bit over here is I think everything sounds good. Except this part, which I really like both effects. So what I'm going to do instead of doing this here is doing it here. Cutting out this guy. We'll have to get... It's a different melody then, by the way. Here and there. Me and a good friend would refer this track to be absolutely Ivan. I have no idea what that means, but I'm assuming that's a compliment, so I'll take it. Oh yeah, I do like the melody thing that I have going on here much more. Do I? I think what that means is that I'm going to do it the other way around. I'm going to have this longer thing over here. Let's see if I can nail where. Yeah. So this here, delete you, move you and you back. Of course, we're gonna need to cut here and here. This back. Kick back there. This guy here. Delete this. Is it there? Yes. Okay. And then delete everything, including the snare here. Move that back over here. I think this will be the best. Oh, stereo width. Then I'll have like a final vocal in here to announce the next part, and I think structurally that makes a lot of sense. Once I put in all of the crashes and those kind of things, I think that will work perfect. No need for many one-shots and those kind of things here, it seems. Which is nice. Okay. Let's start crossing off some of the things that we have here. That here. Got the counter melody. I wanted to layer here more. extra little layer here. Something happened here. Why is that wrong? Has that always been? Ah, that note is missing. That's a critical note there. Towards the end, I probably want this to become a little bit more delayed here. And then, yeah, I should set up some release for these guys. Starting here, I guess. This guy as well. I can make a point on this one, fortunately, and just copy it over because it was the same starting patch. I don't think that's going to be true for all of them. So this guy we have to manually drag in. want the...
It feels like my
I started to, and I guess I.
This guy in there somewhere? That's not the one that I want. It's here, this guy. Here. This guy also have automations? Yes. That's just a trans gate which I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna fill this guy up with vocals. We have more vocals up here. Drag out stuff. This is of course a lot slower, so it might not actually work in here. Ah, yeah, that's a problem. That guy, and then we have the reverb. EQ reverb. And this can going from 80 to 98. I think I want that on the whole of the drop, almost. Is this? Yes, this is just within there, so I can go from here to here. Nice. And then we would want, we have the gain for it. Of course, we want the dry wet to be, let's also start at like 30 here. Go up. I guess how I'm going to do this is I can just take this and just copy over the dry wet of the reverb, and then it should be good. This guy fade into there. Do I still have this? Here. Is this... Please tell me this is the group that is responsible for this sound here. Otherwise I'm gonna be sad. Yes, nice. Okay, where is its delay? Delay is here. I want your delay to be coming in later. Really, you're not going to hear this delay because it fades out there. But that's good. I can now just go here and record over. It should still play the same sound, I think. Oop. I wonder why I decided to... Oh yeah, it's left, right. I think I want that control thing that happens here to be out. This one. So might be this guy. Cool, cool. Just like the control at the end there. And record that. You can imagine why I don't like rendering stuff out and having to do that. If I can avoid having to do that, it is nice because you just don't have to do this recording stuff all the time. No, wait, I need to save this. I'm gonna keep both versions because it's just gonna be in a file here. As you can see, I don't name things that are in here properly. The point is once you make a file of it and you add to 150 more tracks, it's not going to be the same number over here as over here. That it would be, right? But it's fine. It's not like I go in here too much into old things that I no longer need. This guy. This is a wild sound, by the way. I have no idea how I made this. I wonder what the starting point for it is now, given how many effects are on here. I'm gonna check that in a bit. First of all, yeah, we're gonna EQ you out here. It still has high frequencies even though I filtered it in the chain after it. So I assume that a lot of the stuff that is happening in this sound is in the later parts of the effect chain. There are no effects that are off in here, just so I can keep track of that. Yeah. Honestly, I expected there to be more happening in the effects. What am I doing in here? Oh yeah, I'm doing looping. That's what's happening. I like that.
It won't hurt.
This with this extra melody here is soon becoming my favorite part of the track. This and the drop after it. The drop after it is absolutely magical. Here with the vocal, which I really like. I sampled this from a Harry Potter movie. Let's go into more checklist stuff. Foley here has to be synchronized. It still has another here. If I go like this, does it synchronize everything?
I had an experience once myself where I saw myself, and I know this sounds weird because I'm used to seeing
This is
myself.
good.
And I
I
know
like
it sounds
that.
weird because I'm used to seeing explode in cloud of post-it notes that then came fell to the ground and spread out.
I love how all of these utilities are slowly or are contributing to the level in some way. I believe, yeah, this is a level here. I'm gonna have the offbeat hat coming in slowly over there. I hope that fixes a little bit of the peak volume here being a little bit on the loud side. There's a lot going on here. A little bit of like a break thing happening here. bass also cutting it there so that there's really no melody here. I wonder which of the risers is the main one that we hear here. If it's this guy, I'm gonna see if I can just... I was gonna lower it, but let's just do this. That's too much. I think I do like the crash just once, but I'm gonna lower it significantly instead. Because I feel like it's high end and then it all goes away. So let's see what this does. Ah. I think maybe a few extra hats in here. Like a tick-tock, 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 tick-tock kind of thing. This segment is so hard to get right though. Yeah. Make 2 audio tracks for that and then have that those hats alternate for just a little extra emphasis on the high frequencies there. I want the tick to be on the kick. So this. Yeah, and then really just getting a little bit of the high end out of there, so that the emphasis is still more on the beat as well. A little bit of side chaining on this guy coming in here. New hat is still a little bit on the loud side, I would say. I think I'm gonna do it like this, because I do like a little bit of fading out kind of deal. Just have this guy like 9 dB. A little bit earlier in its crossover. There's the emphasis that I want to go for. Rendered this with the fade in there. And then go like this. And also have frequency shifter on there so that it rises with the rest. It's good how much progress I feel like I'm making today. I like it. I'm getting things done that I like. Like that vibe. Towards the end, I'm going to utility this guy out. And I guess I'll also use that utility a little bit in the middle to lower its volume a bit. I wonder at this point how many automations this track has. Probably in the multiple thousands. That's good. You like? Cool stuff so far. Towards the end here, I'm gonna have this guy come out a bit. Maybe a bit much.
It feels like my cosmic sinuses have been opened up and unclogged after a long time of being dormant, and it feels great.
this idea. I had this idea. I had this idea. I had this idea. I started to work the courage to TNT.
What if I just go the lazy way for once here and just duplicate it over? And I'll just make like one edit so that it's not too obvious. Guy's going out there, but a little bit of drag vocals there. Nice. Hey, with the Braxton, how are you doing? Welcome. I think I'm actually about to end the stream for today. At least that was my plan, because I have a few more things that I want to do and I don't want to get to bed too late. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna play this through one more time. We'll do the recording thing, and then we'll end it there probably. So that's another 20 minutes of just listening. Maybe I'll take some notes. Let's see. That's a high-end buy, indeed, yes. So many things to do here. The intro here, the idea is you hear the car door open and shut, and then you hear it like festival entrance things, and then slowly it moves to you being at the campsite and having your first smoke of DMT. And then here's the exhale, and then this is the realization that the drug is kicking in, and then the rest of it is the trip. This delayed one-shot thing I want.
It won't hurt you.
on DMT.
As you can see, some of the things we fixed also bring their own problems again. But luckily, every time I make a checklist, there's usually less stuff that needs to be fixed.
Everybody here has so much control. It won't work.
I had an experience once myself where I saw myself, and I know this sounds weird because I'm used to seeing, explode in a cloud of post-it notes that then became felt around and surrounded.
It feels like my cosmic sinuses have been opened up and unclogged after a long time of being dormant, and it feels great.
I started to work the courage to smoke TNT.
Thank you, Jack. I hope the rest of the track is also to your liking. You know. But here, of course, this part isn't as finished as the rest of the track. You can actually see that still in the waveform, which is cool. You can see here that kind of like smooths out over the segments that are the kick and bass. Cool. So the final scene here that is gonna come in the outro is actually going back, breaking down the tent and getting back in the car, which makes the whole track circular. It's the whole I guess one of the things is that here you set up your tent, right? That or you come at the festival. This is the part where you have your first smoke. This is the part where it really starts to kick in. This is the realization for like, oh, it's kicking in. Here you get above it. Then this part I want to write the more daytime stuff and the more progressive stuff. And then I wanted to do honor to everything that is like the chill area and that is the alternative music that is in there. So that is kind of what this stuff is about. And then it transforms into the more nighttime stuff that is happening over here. So this is the rolling bass line, the faster stuff, the more energetic stuff. And then there's a real nighttime part in it. And then there's also a little bit of full on in here because I'm also a fan of that. So this track really tries to hit every single part of a psytrance festival experience. And then towards the end here, of course, you need to go home again and then the festival is over. So that's gonna be the whole idea behind this track here. And hopefully one day we'll finish it. As you can see, we didn't really make a dent in the amount of notes that I still have for this track, and one of the notes is still finished production because I need to finish all of this still. But we made a nice bit of progress today again. So I hope you guys enjoyed what we did today, and I hope that I can stay semi-consistent with the streaming. I don't know how much it's going to work because of all of the rendering stuff that I talked about at the beginning of the stream that I have to do. But I'll see if I can find a way to work on this as much as possible every Sunday, because it's a really nice project that I really like. So thank you guys. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.